Cool. Well, as some more people join, I can tell you a little bit about where I'm from and my background and what I do right now at John Deere. So I'm Kaitlin Weitekamp, and I grew up in Raymond, Illinois, which is a town of about 950 people, almost exactly, in central southern Illinois. So it's about 40 miles south of Springfield, right off Interstate 55. And both of my parents grew up on farms. My dad is from that area originally, and my mom is from Pike County in Western Illinois. But we lived in town, so I didn't have the traditional farming experience that some of the kids growing up in FFA did. And there were quite a few of us too, and I know it's even more so now. So I'm the youngest of 7, and we did all types of jobs, played all types of sports in high school, but my project when I was in FFA was my mowing business primarily. So that's what I did. And then I decided to go to the University of Illinois after serving as an Illinois state officer for FFA. And I wasn't really sure. I thought I wanted to do engineering because I was a huge science nerd and I loved math in high school, loved building things, taking them apart. And so I went to the University of Illinois open house for engineering, and something didn't feel quite right. University of Illinois felt right, but that part didn't. So my parents said, why don't we go to the Ag College open house? It's now called Explore ACES. And it was the same weekend as the engineering open house. So that's what we did. And that's where I ended up. And I would encourage you that it's very difficult. I think a lot of people are asking you what you want to do when you're older and whatnot. And I think that don't be afraid to go into something and then change your mind, because that's very common. So I went into ag business thinking I would, own a business or be more on the financial business side of things. And I realized I wasn't really fulfilled. So I ended up in plant science, which is called crop sciences at the University of Illinois. And I was able to take some ag business classes to do a concentration in that. So I went on to be with John Deere. And I would also encourage you to keep your options open, because I had interviewed with a couple of other companies and was interested in them when I was getting ready to graduate from college. I had done a couple different internships. I was a facilitator for Washington Leadership Conference through FFA, which was an entire summer in DC, just facilitating and teaching. And I think of Mr. Solomonson and Luke and Megan and all these people when I say that I was not cut out for teaching because I didn't quite have the patience that was needed, I think. But again, unforgettable experience. And I would encourage you, even if it's something that you're not sure whether or not you want to do, you should definitely try it. So that was awesome. And then did an internship with Whipple's Hybrids, which is in Geneseo, Illinois. I was a sales intern for Northern Illinois. And Megan, are you calling me? Maybe not. So, sorry about that. I've been getting spam calls. I don't know about you guys, but yeah. So I went on to work for John Deere, and never would I have thought as an agronomy and plant science person would I go on to work for John Deere, but that's where I am now. So I was at John Deere has like an open house at the campus at University of Illinois. And one of my best friends and I were walking around, and her aunt is an agronomist for John Deere. And she's like, hey, have you ever thought about joining our company? And so I went into the marketing rep customer support program, and they were looking for agronomists because as a machinery company, yes, it's important that we have engineers and people who understand the mechanical part of things, but it's also important that we have people who understand our crop customers and the purpose of the machinery to bridge that gap. So that was my interest when I joined John Deere, and I did 2 stints in the training program, and I was at the planter factory in Moline, Illinois. And I was basically working with customers and getting their information to create new products for them. And because there's no point in putting a lot of money into a new product without, getting the actual data that you need to spend that money. Millions of dollars go into, research and development of products for a lot of agriculture companies, all companies really. And then I went to Kansas City for a while and worked with our technology products. We have a marketing group there that focuses on how our customers and dealers use our data technologies. You see, the computer monitor is basically the way to say it, inside of the tractor, and how it can track different things. And you can use prescriptions to decide how much of a certain product to apply at a certain type of field, and just tracking different things. So we have a lot of capabilities for that. So I did marketing for that, which basically entailed helping dealers understand how to promote and support that to their customers. Then I came back here to work with combines and harvest equipment. And this kind of makes me think of what Emma was saying. Emma had a great question about being interested in pursuing a career with global affairs. So I'm not sure specifically what you are looking to do with global affairs, but for me, that's not something I expected, but something I absolutely love. And going to Megan's point, that's probably one of the favorite parts of my job, is working globally. So when I came back from Kansas City and moved to Moline, I started a job with the combine factory, and we have a combine factory here. And we also build large combines in Germany and Brazil. And so I was part of helping to support those activities from a marketing standpoint. And the teammates that I worked with in both of those countries, I still talk to them today. And the field people that I work with there. So my advice is to, first of all, try and seek out those opportunities. If you don't know where to go, find a mentor or somebody who might be able to connect you with somebody within a company that sounds interesting to you. And it's a trickle effect. Somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody who might have some information for you, or could, give you some guidance. That's the best advice I can give for that, and to not be afraid to try, because you're never sure if you're going to like something until you're actually doing it for a little while. And I also kind of have that 6-week/6 month rule, where, when you first start a job, I don't know if it's this way for everyone, but it's been this way for me. You're like, what did I do? Why did I take this job? It's so much work, or it's so different than what I was doing, because we get so comfortable with what we were doing previously. But it's easy to get in a rut and to not want to try new things. So give it 6 weeks or give it 6 months. And if you really don't feel right about it or don't like it after that, that would be my suggestion. Hi, Jenna, and hi, Sarah. It's good to see you on here. Jennifer, hello. Good question. What advice do I give students who are attending career fairs? Be prepared. And keep an open mind. So as someone who has been on both sides at a career fair, and talking to other colleagues who are at career fairs, don't show up with no prep and no resume and no idea what you're looking for. And you don't have to know for sure what you want to do or anything like that, but at least know what you're interested in. So spend some time, if it's in the quiet or outside or doing whatever, really thinking about what it is that you enjoy doing, because that will impact how much you enjoy your job. So yes, I'm a plant scientist, business person at heart. And yes, I'm doing marketing and customer support right now, which reminds me I should talk about my current job. But I enjoy working with our dealers and our customers, and I'm very passionate about it. And that's why I like working for John Deere, aside from a lot of other great things. I mean, my colleagues are amazing. The company is great and has a lot of integrity. But truly, I don't think anyone can say, if you're doing something that you love, it's it just makes your day a million times better. So be prepared. Know what you roughly like to do or want to do if you're not already the kind of person who knew at age 5 that you wanted to be a doctor or nurse or whatever it is. And have your resume in hand and have a small bit on who you are and what you're interested in. So that way, when you're talking to the recruiter, even if it's just a 10-second pitch of, hi, I'm Kaitlin. I'm interested in plant science, but potentially working with people in something like marketing or customer support, which I wish I would have known back then. But that way they get to know a little bit about you, and right off the bat, they understand more about who you are, and you seem very prepared, which, not going to lie, somebody who's hiring for a company wants somebody who's kind of got their stuff together and is prepared. So Emily, good question. Emily is asking me about adjusting my day-to-day work as a result of my current environment. So currently my job, after I left marketing for combines, I just went over to the John Deere headquarters, which is also in Moline, and now I work for our global customer support team. So John Deere, we have 2 sister departments, and I don't know if I really should call them that, but that's how I see them. So we have marketing, which is the customer facing prior to the sale and during the sale. Those people are doing all kinds of activities, from gathering information up front to, working on materials that our dealers use to sell machinery. And then we have customer support, which is primarily after the sale. So everything from warranty to, diagnosing problems, to selling parts, to people in the field like Ellen Reeder, who is a former FFA member in Illinois, is in the field right now supporting construction equipment for John Deere, because we do have ag equipment and we also have construction equipment. So that's kind of the differentiation between those two. So my job is a little bit of a hybrid right now, and I work in customer support, but I have a marketing role. And if you own a vehicle and you've had your check engine light come on, and you take it to AutoZone or your dealership or wherever, and they plug a little cord into it and read on their screen or monitor, whatever it is, what's going on with it, that system is called, for us, we have that system, it's called Service Advisor, and that's the team that I work on. So Service Advisor is a diagnostic system to diagnose problems on all machines produced by John Deere: engines, construction equipment, ag equipment, old tractors, new tractors. And so my job is to gather data from the users, which is our dealers, because we have dealer technicians who are in the shops who are connecting to machines and doing that. And so thankfully, I've been able to do a lot of that remotely, and John Deere has been flexible with allowing people to work remotely, but some people just can't, because we're working on, building new equipment. I have several friends who are at the factory, the combine factory right now, and they're of course putting safety measures in with face shields and social distancing, and they're just working through that. They're doing temperature scanning as you're coming into the John Deere piece. Thanks, Sarah, for this is hiding all my things. I've had this since I was in college. It's really good for hiding vacuum cleaners and things you don't need people to see. Working in so many countries, Jennifer asks, how many languages do you speak and what languages do you recommend students learn? So working in the United States, Spanish is a big one, because we have quite a few operators. For us, for John Deere, we have quite a few operators who are either primarily Spanish speaking or bilingual. And, we publish our manuals in hundreds of different languages, for sure dozens of different languages across the world, because we do provide them across the world. So Spanish is important. I speak a little bit of German and a tiny, tiny bit of Portuguese, because that's what they speak in Brazil. My next goal is to learn Italian, but that's just because I want to go to Italy. But Spanish for sure. I thought I might try to learn French, because we have French Canadian dealers that I worked with at one point, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't hack it. It was too hard. So Spanish, German is another big one. but also just being willing to learn, even if it's a greeting or something. It makes a big difference when you're having a meeting with someone abroad and you can learn in their language how to say hello or how are you. I mean, I think that goes a long way, and vice versa. Morgan asked, what would you say is the largest challenge you face in your career, and what's the biggest lesson that you have learned in your career? So for me, the largest challenge, that's a great question. Largest challenge, I think that sometimes it's tough. I think that other people might have a better perspective on this, especially some of my friends in the field, but a few of the roles that I've been in, you are the only female, and you just have to be comfortable with it. And the people that I've worked with, both male and female, have been amazing and wonderful. And that makes a huge difference. But at times, with different companies, especially when you're in agriculture, sometimes it's a male-dominated career path. And I just think it's important to not let that daunt you if it does. And no matter what, too, I think another lesson I've learned in my career is that flexibility is huge. Flexibility and communication. And I'm not talking about, compromising your beliefs or your personal, desires. If you want to live somewhere specific for a specific reason or whatever, but be open because, somebody might provide you with an opportunity that you would not have picked up on yourself. And it might seem very uncomfortable at first, but I always do a gut check. So I'm a very slow decision maker. I think my parents, especially my mom, can attest to that. Even what I want to have for dinner, it takes forever. But, just go with your gut. And that sounds so cliche, but really that's what's gotten me through, choosing whether a job is right for me, is if it feels good. Otherwise, flexibility and communication are huge because if you can't communicate well with your coworkers and your manager, they can't read your mind. That's a really big one. You're welcome, Emma. In high school, to prepare for my college or career. I actually wish we would have had more stuff like this when I was in high school. But I do have to say that this is a shout out to the old Section 19 ag teachers, especially. Of course, all ag teachers are wonderful, but I'm a little partial to them. So Mr. Mateer and Mr. Lockwood and Mr. Meyer. My teacher was Mr. Helm at Raymond Lincolnwood, and he was a really awesome guy. And but he would also be the first to tell you that every ag teacher has strengths. And so when you need something specific, I think, go to somebody who has a strength in that. And so those guys were super helpful to me the whole time I was there and trying to help me prepare. It's important that you learn interview skills. And that's something I wish I would have done a little bit more in high school, just because I wasn't as prepared for it, and I still don't enjoy it. I think you just, practice on interviewing and being able to talk about what you've done and what you like to do. Girl power. Yeah. I have some great sister role models, and my mom, she's a very independent person. She's very opinionated. Sorry, Mom. I am too. That's where I got it from. And so it's really, it's really been a good experience to kind of get to know other women in ag. And there are a lot of different things now that they didn't have when I was in school for getting to meet other people. And yeah, it's really awesome. So I would encourage you to reach out to anybody that you know who could provide you a connection. Yes, Megan, the Section 19 teachers are the best. So anyways, I was saying that reach out to somebody who, you're interested in learning more about, and don't be afraid. Be fearless in terms of reaching out to them, because it can't hurt. All they can do is tell you they don't have time to talk to you, or which hopefully they don't. That's silly, but that's probably the most important thing. So that kind of goes back to Megan's question about important career and life advice is, be cognizant. Maybe don't overstep your bounds, but a little bit of fearlessness goes a long way. So in terms of, being your own advocate, that's kind of what you have to do in the corporate world. I think hopefully some of my colleagues would agree with me, but you are your best advocate because you know yourself the best out of everybody, and you know what you like. And hopefully with guidance from other people, you'll know what you would like to do, and they can help you guide you down the career path that you're looking for. So I feel like I've rambled. I know this is kind of crazy, but thank you for all of the great questions. And I appreciate seeing some of you on here. A blast from the past. Okay, well, I hope you have a wonderful day full of sunshine and rainbows. And I hope you guys have a great weekend. And I know that this rest of this school year is probably going to be very challenging. And hi, Annie. Good to see you, sort of. I know it's weird to see people on here, but anyways, I know the rest of the school year is great, but give your teachers some slack because they're working really hard to keep this going for you. Biggest piece of marketing advice, Maddie's asking me about that. So it depends what kind of marketing you're talking about. If you're talking about advertising, I should give you the name of my good friend, the same girl I was walking to John Deere Day with at U of I, Sadie Asher. She is an advertising guru and could tell you all about that. But for a marketing standpoint, in terms of working directly with customers and understanding the best way to put information together to put information out there to them, or to sell something to them, or to get their input for a product, get on their level is my best advice. So you need to understand what other players are in the game. So if they're a farmer, they're not just thinking about the tractor that you're trying to sell them. They're thinking about their taxes. They're thinking about their family. Maybe they have an ailing parent. Maybe they are in debt up to their eyeballs with land payments. And it's a really crazy year like this year with COVID-19. So get the full picture before you create a piece of marketing for whatever you're doing. Just to be sure that you truly understand who you're marketing to and what else is going on in their business or their lives or whatever it is. If it's plants, if it's, taxes that you're doing, if you're an accountant, I don't know. But just be sure that you understand your audience. That would be my biggest piece of advice. Okay. You are welcome, Jay, for speaking with you guys. It's nice to talk to somebody. That's the one difficult part of this whole COVID situation is I've been on FaceTime with my parents and friends nonstop, and I've figured out what Zoom is. I didn't even know what that was before this, but it's nice to see and talk to people. So thank you for having me today. If you have any questions and you want to follow up, just get a hold of Megan. She has my information, and I will talk to you guys later. Have a good one.